just give us an appraisal, first of all, of Harry's chances for Friday.
Harry will feature on Friday.
What does it mean to the group then to get him back?
Harry's very excited, that's for sure. Everyone knows what Harry can do, and the boys love playing with Harry. But this week at training, they've sort of just cracked on with things, and Harry will just be, another one of the 17. Really, it's not about Harry, but it is good to have him back.
Did you always have your eyes on this fixture for his return, or is he sort of slightly ahead of schedule? Or
no, pretty much bang on. As I said a few times previously, it's a little tricky given the actual injury that he's had isn't a common one, and the time frames can fluctuate a little bit. So he's bang on, and he's ready to go, and he's done a good amount of work in the last couple of weeks.
I'm sure he is absolutely raring to go. At the same time, do you have to rein him in a little bit?
Not today. Very measured and calculated and quality session out there on the field today. He was very much in control of himself, which is good to see. Maybe by the time game time comes around, we might have to tell him to take a breath.
Not that you need sparking up given what happened last week, but is this the sort of thing, his return, I know he's very popular within the group, is it the sort of thing that could spark the team up as a whole?
Oh, there's a buzz around the group about, having a squad that's getting healthier and deeper as we go. So, it's about putting on another performance this weekend. It's great to have Harry back in the mix, but, it's really about performing again this week as a group.
What's the prognosis with Kruise?
Not as bad as sort of first thought, and he has done some training, but just felt it's best to get some, graduated sort of return back to full training and not take any risks with it on a shortish turnaround from that injury.
Is it an exacerbation of the previous foot injury then?
Nah, it's in a similar neck of the woods, but it's not it's not the same thing, and it's nowhere near as severe, and it'll settle well. Are
you able to put a time limit on that?
No, it shouldn't be too long though. Yeah.
Well, that's good news. What's the situation with Justin Sangare?
Justin's partner actually went into labour during the St Helens game, but he was committed towards playing and finishing that game. So we've given Justin some sort of compassionate leave to be with his family this week, given that he's away from home. He doesn't have his family network around, so it's really important that we as a club support Justin and his beautiful family and allow him that time to settle in.
So where did his wife give birth? Do you know?
In Leeds.
How does he feel about having a Yorkshire baby then?
Yeah, I actually sent him a message yesterday to say that he's obviously going to bring up the baby with some African background, some French, and now the baby's full Yorkshire. So I think it's a good story, and it's part of our sort of culture within our Leeds Rhinos culture, that it is expanding, and it's we've got guys from lots of different parts of the world and different upbringings and stuff, which is really nice. I think it's cool to share that with them.
He's a lucky man. He's a lucky man indeed, and congratulations to him and his family. What about possible changes and beyond Harry that you might be pondering for Friday?
James Bentley will play as well, which is also good news.
So are you getting closer to having 3 games in, forced to play? Are you getting closer to knowing your preferred 17, do you think?
I think that's a work in progress, and it's a week-to-week proposition, and how people play and train and what's the right mix for the particular week. It's good to have more people available for selection that are, fully fledged quality Super League players. That's great, but some of the other guys that have played and contributed so far have done well. So it's the 17 will be a week-to-week proposition, but it is good to have people competing for spots. And I've said that to guys, it's game on. The more people are available for selection, the more competition there is, which inevitably brings out the best in people.
What's your gauge on Wakefield then, where they're at this moment in time?
I've watched. Obviously, we got an early glimpse of Wakefield against them on Boxing Day, and I thought they were very well organised as a team, both attack and defence. Very connected with their defence. Hard to break down, and they had a rough day, obviously against Wigan, and Field and French and co were very sharp that day, but in the other two games against top quality opposition in Huddersfield and Catalans, they've been hard to break down defensively. They conceded a few tries from kicks in round one, but they were hard to break down. So we're expecting a really strong performance. Clearly anyone that hasn't won in the first few weeks is going to be desperate, and we're desperate to get started at home after a disappointing round two performance overall.
Presumably he'll come into contention for the Cas game next week.
Justin's done a tremendous job for us so far, and I'm not surprised, but he's played well, and he'll be back in the team next week for sure.
What's the situation with Morgan? You said there were no lasting symptoms. Is he just being cautious with him?
We feel it's very important with young players particularly, but any players, that they do suitable amounts of training and make some intervention to improve technique and strength, particularly for a young player, rather than simply doing the concussion protocols and ticking the boxes. Morgan has also been to see a specialist and had an MRI, and we're just getting all of the information together so that we can make the best course of action on his return. But he hasn't had any symptoms. He's been training on his graduated return to training. We're just going to take a little bit longer than a regular one, because he's a young player and he has had a bump in the past. So we've just been as supportive as we can for Ganno to build his season.
Yeah. On Wakefield, do you see this as a dangerous fixture in terms of, after your result last week and based on the fact that they're yet to get off the mark?
I see every game as a dangerous fixture. I respect every opposition 100%. That's the only game on this week, and they're a team. They're connected. They know what they're trying to get done. They're going to be hungry, but we have to compete at the same level week on week. Is our challenge and opportunity, and what they do is up to them. We can't control that part, but we're going to come ready to perform.
Yeah. Confident you can back up from such a big effort last week?
Yeah, we've recovered well. We're in good physical condition, I believe, and the squad's getting healthier. So competition for places and game time and all of those things are there. So it's everything to play for in round four.
Yeah, and has last week had a good effect on the squad in terms of confidence, that sort of thing?
Oh, I think that's probably an individual thing. Boys obviously enjoyed it after the game, singing the song, but by the time we're on the bus, it was pretty calm. Saturday in review, there was, people are looking to review their game more than pat each other on the back or whatever. We know we've got to start again. Last week doesn't count for anything. Our start to the season can easily show that all of that confidence talk and momentum and all that stuff. I just don't believe in that myself. After round one, we were written off. After round two, come back next year kind of chat in the media and some fans. And then round three, we play pretty well and compete very well against the best team in the world, and all of a sudden we're a good team again. And you don't change who you are as a team or what you're capable of in a week or two or three. It's just a matter of bringing out what you've got, and that's our opportunities to bring out what we got on Friday.
You've said that you want to see an improvement week to week. You must be pretty happy that so far you've seen that. I
was impressed by last week's performance, but the two previously, I wasn't. We improved some aspects in round two, but we're a long way from where we want to be. where last week we were closer to where we want to be.
You just touched on there the sort of adverse reactions to defeats and victories in the early part of the season. Does it surprise you? Does it frustrate you that, when you lose a game, you're viewed as a team that's not quite up to scratch, and then you win a game the next week and you're viewed as the best team in the world?
Doesn't frustrate me. I encourage players and other staff within our organisation to look within and challenge how we can do things better, and not look externally for the answers, because they don't lie there. That's for media and fans to have their opinions, and that's why it's a great game, because everyone's got an opinion, and that's why we love sport, because people are so engaged in it. So that's all that stuff's good, and what we try and control is what happens inside the walls of our place.
I know it's only 3 weeks in, but internally for the sort of spirit and I guess the confidence of the group, how important was it just to get that first win, get that monkey off the back and sort of get rolling?
Again, that's probably an individual situation, because some guys have actually started the year pretty well, but just maybe not collectively. We haven't been consistent. I posed the question the other day. I'd say some people probably felt some relief on Friday, where I actually felt belief. I didn't feel relieved that we'd won. I felt like, we showed what we've got. Some of what we've got was my take, and there'll be others that are bits of both, I would imagine, in our group. But we know what we've got, and there's a lot of belief in our group.
And just finally from me, I know there's going to be a lot of eyes on Harry this weekend, but to have James Bentley back as well, how big a boost is that? He's a real competitor, isn't he?
Yeah, he sort of epitomises that competitive spirit. He's done some good work in the last few weeks in getting his rehab and return to play stuff done, and he's in a good place, and we're looking forward to him, competing and chasing his position in the starting team back.
Just wondered if we might see Corey Johnson on Friday, given Kruise's situation.
We might. Yeah, we might.
Also, were you surprised to see that Sam Walters was charged by the RFL for a shoulder charge? Because I think you said that it wasn't.
Rather not comment.